Welcome to Saturday Stretch for the final time this year. Brad Johnson, Jordan Lewis, are you a little bit sad?
I'm a little bit teary.
Yeah. Tell you what, that was a little bit teary, a bit emotional seeing Kath Simpson and Matty Cruiser bid farewell. The night had everything really. Lions now heading into finals on a winning note.
Yeah, sitting on top of the ladder, they'll be happy with that. And look, I think over the night they had an unbelievable second quarter, and then the second half, Carlton did well after a spray from David Teague at halftime to actually lift themselves up. And look, they did themselves proud in that second half. They walk away with finishing the season okay, but ultimately it's all about the Brisbane Lions now and what they can achieve in October.
It was the second half. It was won and lost in the second quarter. Sorry, it wasn't with 5 goals to 0, and it just makes it so hard to catch up on the scoreboard. You've got to play a different mode of football. You've got to play a little bit quicker, and sometimes that doesn't suit sides. But as you said, their last quarter they nearly pegged it back. With the Gibbons miss, that would have pegged it back to 10 points, and that would have given them a real show, but it wasn't to be. We
spoke about at half-time. It's worrying, though, for Carlton heading into the off-season with these stretches of patches during games where they're just conceding 5, 6 straight goals.
Yeah, it is. And look, when you think of the quality type sort of midfield they do have, the Blues, they do have some stars in there that they do let that amount, the opposition score so heavily, that quickly. So that's concerning. That's something that they'll certainly try and work on as best they can. And with another year of development into some of the younger players, I think that'll help also.
Yeah, and a year where they can train situations and scenarios, I suppose no side has had that opportunity this year. So when you get a young side without the ability to train certain situations that may happen in games, it's very hard to fix.
It is mainly, though, about the Brisbane Lions. They are the finals-bound team. And Hugh McGluggage, Jono, he's just taken his game to another level this season.
Well, he was in All-Australian discussions last year. He certainly will be again this year. And this is sort of why. And this is when you look at young players in the competition who are standing up for their team. And this is why he's having such an impact consistently for the Brisbane Lions. Now, they've got some good young players that push through, but this guy here is leading the charge. You can see where he started on the back flank at the stoppage, and watch how this just unfolds. He just never loses track of the ball in the situation. He leaks balls over there. Could have given up the run halfway through. I'm not going to get it. This is where the ball's going to finish up. But just look whose hands this ball finishes in right now. That is a massive run to stay involved that whole time, and that's why he's gone to another level. That's why the Brisbane Lions are a serious contender, because he's not the only one that does it. He learns off Neil and Zorko and these guys who push themselves, and he's jumped on board and become a star.
Yeah, there's one thing to have endurance, but you've got to have the ability and the know-how to use it, and that play was picked up by you. It was an amazing piece of play because he wasn't overly aggressive, but he stayed involved in the chain as it then transitioned. But then once the ball went sideways, he continued on his run and actually ended up with the ball in his hands. Fantastic piece of play.
I saw Lachie Neale a little bit during that. Did he just complete a Brownlow winning season, do you think?
He's certainly, I would say he's the favourite, and his numbers tonight would suggest that he probably got... And he was heavily tagged too.
That was a cue, Jono, get the...
Yeah, no, it was. I had him here, but it was quarter 2 I had on there, and I'm like, from earlier, and I'm like,
time,
OK,
Kath.
here we go. 29 disposals for Lachie Neale. Yes, no worries. I think Daniel Rich gets the 3 tonight, though, so I hope that doesn't hurt him, because Daniel Rich, we had pumped up a fair bit. Finished with 22.
Oh,
and guess what? They're 5-0. When he has more than 20 disposals,
you're just backing up your stat at the start of the game. Look at you two.
And look,
Lachie Neale got the 3 votes
It wasn't my stat. I don't know what you're talking about. He was, though, super impressive tonight, Daniel Rich.
Well, he kicked 2 goals as well to go with it. They were super goals as well, outside 50, and that's the ability he's got. But it's more about the metres gained, the way he changes the angles for the Brisbane Lions really sets them up off half-back.
Let's take a look at our zero key moment of the match, and it is the fairy tale moment, because it was the retiring Kath Simpson with the goal in his final AFL game. Finished with 19 touches, 7 rebound 50s, 523 metres gained, and of course, this goal.
It was a wonderful piece of play on what was his last game, and it will be sad to see him go, because when you switched on the TV and you watched Carlton, he was a regular feature and a player you just admired from afar and loved to watch, because he gave absolutely everything for the jumper. So him to get a goal in his final match, and it didn't work out with the win. But he would leave with good memories.
If you're another club, would you just ask the question of him? Especially with what's happened in, like, obviously yourself and your move, Geordie, which was successful. Hodgie, Birchall, these guys have retired and think they're going to finish up. And they go on to be quite strong at another team. Lured out of retirement.
Yeah, I would ask the question. If I was in another club in a list management position, I would just ask the question whether he had the energy and the want to go on.
Would you?
Would I ask the question? Oh, of course I'd ask the question. Yeah, 100%.
That's why.
That was a good question by you.
Yeah.
That's why we mentioned
I've saved my best till the last show.
at the start that we were surprised that he retired.
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
Yeah. Strange things are happening, though, this
that's right.
off-season.
Yep.